Action-adventure games have been a cornerstone of gaming for absolute decades, but it feels like we're entering a new golden age. In the world of Souls-like games that has taken over the gaming industry and has happened over the course of these past years, Souls-like games actually rising up every other month, some being major AAA studios and some being by indie developers. But it is honestly just quite a breath of fresh air seeing the action-adventure games making this absolute comeback, and I want to actually talk about some of the games that is really bringing a heat this year to put themselves back on the map. But this year alone is packed with incredible titles that prove the genre is alive and kicking. Here are just 6 games of why the action-adventure renaissance is here, so let's have some fun discussing the upcoming lineup of action games and overall just makes them special. So starting off with Ninja Gaiden 4. Now, Koei Tecmo has been quite busy this year with major game releases like Dynasty Warriors Origins, Ninja Gaiden 2 Remake, the upcoming Atelier Yumiya JRPG. One major reason why is, of course, a return of the classics. So let's go back a little bit in time, and Ninja Gaiden 3. Definitely, and overall, in my opinion, felt like a very weak part of the trilogy. I love Ninja Gaiden 1. I loved Ninja Gaiden 2. I even just did an entire fucking review on the overall remake. And I feel like Ninja Gaiden 3, Razor's Edge, just really did not hit the spark and kind of just finished the series off in its worst part. Like, for an example, let's look at Devil May Cry. Devil May Cry 1, great, phenomenal, loved every second of it. Devil May Cry 2, what the hell are we doing? Like, come on, we got to figure it out, Capcom. What are we doing here? And then Devil May Cry 3, the overall comeback season for them. Devil May Cry 3 being one of my favorite, and I believe for a lot of other people, all-time favorite across the community that loves Devil May Cry. But when it came to Ninja Gaiden 3, and it just felt weak, like the level design was not that great. The combat was lacking in some areas, but it just didn't feel like it's what made the series great overall. After years of waiting, we finally get Ninja Gaiden 4 that was showcased at the Xbox Developer Direct. Therefore, with the given announcement trailer, we have hope for Team Ninja and as well as Platinum Games to bring the series back and make up for what fans did not like in Ninja Gaiden 3. So Ninja Gaiden 4 is set to release in fall of 2025. This is marking the return of our iconic ninja action series after almost a 13-year hiatus. This time around, the game introduces a brand new protagonist, Yakumo, a young ninja prodigy whose mission is to save a distant near future of Tokyo from an ancient enemy resurrected by the Dark Dragon. Now, overall, when you look at the trailer, I made a funny joke in my trailer reaction towards the announcement, is that it felt like Platinum Games really worked on the fighting style of Yakumo while Team Ninja stayed and worked with Ryu Hayabusa. So yeah, it's a funny little joke. It looks very, like, when I look at the new character fighting, it gives me very Platinum Games, very Nier Automata, very Vanquish, all the other Platinum game IPs out there. It just kind of gives me that feel. But Ryu takes place as a significant role in this game, appearing as both a mentor and as well as some form of a rival for our brand new protagonist. But this game blends the classic Ninja Gaiden hack and slash combat with new mechanics, such as the Yakumo's blood ninjutsu, which allows him to transform his weapons and utilizing blood and kind of using blood art. Kind of reminds me of like Avatar, like blood bending, or Jujutsu Kaisen's Chozo using his blood art. It just gives me just this vibe, so to speak. The developers, Team Ninja and the Platinum Games, are of course collabing together to give us Ninja Gaiden 4, aiming to deliver a challenging yet accessible experience, pushing action game veterans to their limits while welcoming newcomers with an awesome adventure full of twists and turns. Ninja Gaiden 4 promises to be a visually stunning and as well as action-packed experience, gripping story, that helps with themes of legacy and destiny, and honestly just clashing in between something that is tradition and something that is innovation. The game's release is highly anticipated by fans of the series, and I'm one of those fans, by the way. I'm very anticipated for it. For anybody who's also action game enthusiasts, are also waiting for this game as well. This is definitely a comeback season for Team Ninja and Koei Tecmo. This renaissance is seen by taking us back to those roots of action games and proving why they became so popular. And of course, how can we do that without bringing one of the OGs back to lead this renaissance? So Lost Soul Aside is the next game on the list. The visuals of all of these games that is releasing this year, but there are two games that is dropping this year that I want to take note of due to how good they look, how visually great they look, and the combat looking absolutely insane. And that's going to be Lost Soul Aside being one of those games. Lost Soul Aside is an action RPG developed by Alt-Zero Games, set to release on PS5 and PC on May 30th, 2025. The game follows Kazir, a warrior that is bounded to a dragon-like creature, as they journey to save his sister and prevent humanity's destruction. The narrative explores themes of survival, betrayal, and as well as redemption within a world on the brink of absolute chaos. The game is known for its fast-paced, fluid combat, drawing inspiration from titles like Devil May Cry and, of course, Ninja Gaiden. You can expect a mix of like melee attacks that you see in the trailer. There's different combos, and the game just keeps blowing me away for how visually great it looks. And it just seems like the battle experience is going to be quite dynamic and fun to engage with. Visually, Lost Soul Aside is quite a stunning game, really pushing Unreal Engine 4's capabilities to its max. The game has meticulously crafted different environments, from these temples you see throughout the trailer, the otherworldly landscapes that you'll come across, blending that fantasy and sci-fi elements to create quite a unique aesthetic. Character models are equally also very impressive, with detailed armored, the fluid animations that bring the world to life, and you really see it throughout the trailer. All of the promotional material that this game has, it really pushes Lost Soul Aside. It's just like, damn, this game looks absolutely great. And it honestly initially gained its attention due to its high production value and quite this ambitious scope, especially considering it was initially developed by a singular individual, and that name is Yang Bing. With Sony's involvement, it has truly evolved into a fully fledged AAA title. The game blends elements of fantasy and sci-fi, creating that unique aesthetic that will stand out from the rest of the crowd. It promises quite a compelling mix of high-speed action, intricate storytelling, and just visuals that just looks absolutely chef's kiss. And it is now grown to be one of the most anticipated titles of 2025, and it became even more anticipated once we saw that reveal date trailer at Sony's State of Play. But you may have mentioned earlier that I said that there were two games that are also releasing this year that just visually looks great, and that second game on this list is Phantom Blade Zero. Oh my god. In my opinion, this is by far the most visually appealing and most insane kung fu combat I've seen since Sifu dropped, and that is Phantom Blade Zero. Phantom Blade Zero is an action RPG that is developed by S Game. The game is set in quite a dark and stylized world that is inspired by Chinese martial arts and folklore. I always gravitate to this because I myself is a martial artist myself, and I love seeing games really take something that I've been practicing for my whole entire life and really bring it out into the world. And players pretty much can take on a role of a skilled swordsman seeking revenge against people who have wronged him. And there's been so many promotional materials throughout the past few years, so finally seeing it actually come to life, and it's finally gonna have some form of reveal, like a release date this year, I can't be any more happier. The combat system is fast-paced and fluid. Like, it's insane for how much they got the wushu martial arts, and like how it just feels like I'm watching an old kung fu movie, and it just looks great. Some of the stuff that they're doing with this hardware that they're pushing to the max is just honestly just great. And it showcases a variety of different martial art techniques, many different weapons, many different special abilities that just makes you feel like a badass. But visually, Phantom Blade Zero is, oh my god, it's really pushing the boundaries of graphical fidelity. The environments are richly detailed, atmospheric. There's dynamic lighting. The weather effects look absolutely great. It just brings the world to life. Feels like I'm literally in a kung fu movie. The character models, like our main guy, he's super highly detailed. Even the bosses and some of the enemies are very expressive and highly detailed, showcasing the fluidity and power of their movements. The game's art style is a unique blend of traditional Chinese aesthetics with this modern fantasy elements, honestly creating a nice blend, something that is visually striking and just overall a memorable experience. I can't get this game out of my head. The game emphasizes fast-paced, fluid combat that is inspired heavily by classic kung fu films, but players can also utilize a variety of different martial art techniques, right? But they also have this semi-open world design, allowing players to explore this interconnected regions, diverse environments, challenging enemies. The game's unique visual style also combined with this intricate combat system and quite a compelling narrative. I've been pretty hooked on the narrative since they've been showcasing it through many different trailers and videos. And overall, this game has also, just like Lost Soul Aside, generated a significant amount of hype from viewers. Next we have on this list is a game that we saw at the State of Play, and I needed to make a video right away because I was absolutely blown my mind. We have Tides of Annihilation, which is this fantasy action-adventure game that is set in a shattered, mystical version of London. We can also take on the role of the main character, Gwendolyn, who must fight alongside spectral knights to save her family and piece her world back together. The game is inspired by Arthurian legend and features a unique combat system that allows players to command a band of knights, each with their own special abilities. Now, let's talk a little bit about Gwendolyn. The Gwendolyn is also voiced by Jennifer English, who Jennifer English is the person who voiced Shadowheart in Baldur's Gate 3. So her voice acting is very great, and I love how the character speaks when we were watching the trailer. But when we're playing as Gwendolyn and her Spectral Knights, it's a system that encourages strategic thinking and allows for a variety of different play styles, because when you notice in the extended gameplay, they all have different ways of how they attack and how they can be comboed together. So you kind of have to understand who needs to be out first to deal the maximum amount of damage, and it's always a little bit thinking on your toes. Not too much like strategy like turn-based, but you can kind of see how you want to go that playstyle moving forward. But I will say, while watching Tides of Annihilation, one of the most innovative aspects that I like about this game is its approach to single player combat. The game successfully captured the feel of co-op gameplay by allowing you to summon and fight alongside the AI controlled knights, but this also creates a dynamic and engaging combat experience that feels both, like I said, just a tinge of strategicness, just a little bit, nothing crazy. I ain't saying you gotta be 5D in chess, but it's just a little bit, and it's just straight hands after that. The interplay between Gwendolyn and her spectral allies offers a fresh take on this action-adventure formula, just really honing in on this, and I just love it. I'm glad they dropped that extended gameplay because I needed more after what happened at the State of Play. In addition to its unique combat system, Tides of Annihilation features a compelling world that blends modern and medieval elements. Players will explore a ruined London that has been transformed by an otherworldly invasion, encountering colossal knights and uncovering secrets of the Shattered Realm. There were some moments in the trailer where it kind of gave me that Shadow Colossus moments for some of those larger knights, and I'm like, oh my god, more representation of Shadow Colossus. Give me more. I'm loving it. But the game focuses on exploration and storytelling combined with this innovative combat, making it a quite promising title with the potential to offer a truly unique and memorable gaming experience. And overall, this is why this renaissance is hitting as hard as it is, because we're somebody who's a fan of the action series. It feels great. I know I have covered a lot of Souls-like games on this channel, but that's felt like that's all we had. Now that all of these games are coming back and really pushing in, I'm like, oh my god. I like when they shadow dropped Ninja Gaiden 2 remastered, Ninja Gaiden 2 Black back in January, I was just like, bro, I literally loved every second of it. I sat down, played I think I beat it in like 10 or so hours, 10 or 12 hours, and I'm just like, it felt good. It felt like I was young again playing this game for the very first time back in 2008. So it's just like, shit, man, I love this game. Last two games on the list, we have Onimusha 2 Samurai's Destiny, which was announced to be released this year after the announcement of Onimusha Way of Sword. Now, Onimusha 2 is, of course, a game they're bringing back from the past. It is a thrilling action-adventure game that takes players on a journey through feudal Japan, and the game's innovative gameplay mechanics, such as the ability to absorb demon souls and unleash powerful attacks, set it apart from the other games in the genre. Now, A lot of action games were dealing with demons and everything like that, and Onimusha follows in the same suit. And it basically takes on the story is a blend of historical fiction with very supernatural side of things. Players assume the role of Jubei Yagyu, a samurai who is seeking revenge against the evil Nobunaga Oda. The game's rich lore and well-developed characters create an immersive experience that keeps players engaged from beginning to end. Now, Onimusha 2 is a must-have for any fan of action-adventure games, and the fact that we are able to play it again from a game that came out all the way back in, 2003, 2004, like '02, somewhere in that time frame, for a game that came out back then, it honestly feels good to see it coming back. And now we're actually getting a whole new game, which is Onimusha Way of Sword. Now, I do know that this game does not release in 2025, but I needed it to be part of this list because holy hell, Onimusha Way of the Sword was announced back at 2024 Game Awards, and it made the kid in me scream because I love the Onimusha games ever since I played Onimusha Warlords on the PS2. Capcom is truly hitting us with that nostalgia, just like Koei is doing with Ninja Gaiden series with the remake, as well as Ninja Gaiden Ragebound that's coming out the summer of this year, and we're also getting Ninja Gaiden 4 in fall. So action adventure games are really being that dominated back in the day, and this nostalgia is truly bringing all the veterans, all the old heads, all right, all the unks out there, all the big bros out. I'm one of those unks, one of those big bros coming out of the woodwork saying, oh man, I'm fiending. I need it. I need this genre to rise again. You know, I needed more of it. But this year's lineup of action adventure games is a feast. We are absolutely eating. We are cooking. And is offering a diverse array of experiences that cater to a wide range of tastes. Whether you crave the lightning fast reflexes and acrobatic combat of a super ninja, the grand scope of immersive storytelling of an epic fantasy quest that you'll see probably in Lost Soul Aside and Phantom Blade Zero and Tides of Annihilation, or is just this stoic intensity and precise swordplay of a historical samurai adventure that you will find in Onimusha, you're sure to find a title that will ignite your imagination and keep you glued to your screen for hours on end. And I truly can't wait for Onimusha Way of the Sword, because that our main character is going to be the most badass samurai that ever walked this earth, and it's Musashi Miyamoto. Like, holy shit, like that's crazy to me. Like that's gonna be cool because I like this guy. He's pretty cool. So like I said, from the martial arts side of me, I love him. But developers are now able to create worlds and experiences that were simply just impossible quite a few years ago, 10, 15 years ago. And they're actually able to take these games, and this has led a new wave of action adventure games that are pushing the boundaries of what's possible in terms of graphics, gameplay, and storytelling. Honestly, I'd say the action adventure genre is in good hands. With so many exciting titles on the horizon, this year is shaping up to be quite a landmark year for fans of these adventure games and just unforgettable gaming experiences. Let me know in the comments, what is your game you're looking forward to? And if you want to talk more about games together, then hop into the Discord. I have the link below, and sub to the channel. Helps us out, join the chaotic community. But as always, stay safe out there. And it's been your host, Chaos DTV, signing out. Peace.